I had a good life growing up. It's a good, stable family, good parents. Was involved in school, sports, had a lot of friends. And when I was in high school and stuff like that, I was close with the Lord. I thought I had a good relationship. I was doing a lot of the different things, going to youth group, surrounded by good people. But it was when I got out of high school that I kind of went sideways. I started getting to the party scene. I was partying, and I remember I had a Marine show up at my house at an after party. He had just gotten out of the military, and he was traumatized. You could just see it all over his face. I was 22 years old at that time, and when I looked at his face, and I'm sitting there partying, and he's there with his fiance, who's also a Marine who had gotten out. Between her and him, I felt like I was using them, and I was using all those people who were my same age, who were over there fighting and actually doing something and giving something up of themselves while I'm sitting here drinking, partying, trying to have sex with random girls, just living that whole life, and it made me feel horrible and ashamed. The next day I went down and enlisted. Spent 4 years in the Marines. I deployed to Fallujah, Iraq. Was there for like 9 or 10 months. I was a machine gunner, so every single day, whether it be one patrol or multiple patrols, I was in the turret. We were QRF to when guys got hit by IEDs, and mainly it was the Army guys and then Iraqi police that were getting hit. They didn't mess with us, the Marines, too much, but we were always getting called out after people got hit. So you're going up into, real hostile danger areas, for secondaries and for ambushes, and you never know what's going to happen. I started getting phone calls and text messages about who died, who got shot, who got their leg blown off. Every time my phone rang or get a text message, tear you up inside. You didn't even want to look down at it or answer it because you're afraid of what it's going to say or who it's going to be. And flew down to Matthew Abate's funeral. He was one of our snipers. He was awarded the Navy Cross for some of the things he did out there. And when I went out there and I saw some of the other guys that had already been hit that came back to the States that were at his funeral, it was rough. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. To see their faces when they came back. And then I was there when my unit came back from Afghanistan, and watching them walk up, and some of them didn't have legs, they're in wheelchairs or eyes or hands. I remember seeing them before they left. You see them as a whole. And then you see them come back, and they're coming back in pieces. And there's not all of them anyways. You're missing a lot of the faces. I've been struggling with a lot of things, and one of the hardest things for me to have someone say to me was, "Man, Corporal Roberts, we could have really used you out there." I wanted to be there so bad, I felt like I let them down. Like, we could have used you there, like we needed you, and you weren't. That's how I took it, and that crushed me. From 2010 till 2014, I struggled with substances, with anger, with anxiety, with depression. My marriage fell apart, but then after she was gone, I went off the rails big time. I had tried suicide attempts by overdoses several times. I had gotten 3 DUIs in 1 year. I tried suicide by cop, which I had a 45-minute standoff with about 5 or 6 cops. But it was the last couple months that I was in the VA hospital doing my residential program as a patient there, that someone gave me a book, Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyers. And I was about 3/4 of the way through that book when I hit my knees and just realized, God, you're the only one that can save me from where I'm at right now, because there's only a few options I got looking at me. And I just prayed. I got on my knees and I said, Lord, if you get me out of this, if you rescue me from this, because I can't rescue myself at this point, I will follow you. You ask me to do something, I'll do it. I'm coming back to you if you'll take me, but you got to show me something. You got to help me out of this. And it was like overnight, everything started to change. I wanted to help veterans with PTSD or who just felt lost and nowhere to go. So as I was going through Cornerstone's program, I had a class where I had to go and start interviewing people. And I ran across Steve in this situation. And Steve Prince, asked me to come in because we had lunch, and then I was like, hey, I want to just shadow you for a day or whatever. I did a freedom appointment, not realizing I was going to be doing a freedom appointment for myself. I thought I was going to watch somebody else go through one, but it was me. And it was amazing. I cried, I teared up, I dealt with a lot of things. And when I left, I immediately knew that this was something I wanted to be a part of and help others experience, really, and lead them to it. So I started my apprenticeship to start doing freedom appointments with Steve. And that was about a year and a half ago, maybe. And ever since then, I've been doing freedom appointments, getting involved in things. I went on the thing called the Hero's Return, which made me drop a lot more things that I was holding on to yet. And then since then, what I have found through Warrior Set Free is it's connected me to a brotherhood that I lost when I left the Marine Corps. They're not all Marines, so it's not the same in that sense, but it's all veterans, it's all believers in Christ, it's all guys who have gone through hard things and who are fighting now together. I know now that if I have problems, just like when I was in the Marines, I got my brothers to have my back. And it's a great feeling. It gives you strength, it gives you purpose, it gives you hope, and it just pulls you out of where you were at. It's the brotherhood. It's seeing Christ work through other people and seeing what he does with others. It's just been an amazing experience, and I've seen a lot of guys that I've walked with from their very beginning steps that they're a whole different person now. The way they talk, the way they carry themselves, the way their outlook is, the language they use, it's just changed. And it's a beautiful thing to see and be a part of, because I know it's done it for me. Warrior Set Free in a lot of ways has given me my purpose back in life. And that all stems from, them doing God's work, what was asked of them. So that's my story.